So there's a hashtag that's trending now that's leaving MAGA.
So, above me is a hashtag that supposedly is going around on social media.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into two trending topics that is sparking major conversations online. If you have been scrolling through Twitter or Facebook recently, you have probably seen the hashtag Leaving MAGA making waves, and there is another discussion heating up. A comment that is being shared widely. I have seen almost a dozen "I regret my vote" videos. Please stop making those videos and prepare for the midterms action wars. In this video, we are going to break down what these trends mean, explore the reactions they are generating, and talk about why now might be the time to move from words to action. Let's get started.
Respectfully, if you are getting on here saying how much you regret your vote or regret who you voted for, please stop. Midterms are coming up in 2 years. So you need to go ahead and stop making your videos about how you regret your vote, because no one believes it, and demonstrate through your actions that you're ready to take on the task of fighting for and uplifting our democracy when the midterms arrive in 2 years. Because no one's believing that anymore. We've been down this road before. That regret of your vote. That regret of what you did after you've done it already. We've seen this before. It's like we forget as a society what happened just because it didn't happen yesterday or in the last 30 minutes. We tend to have such a short attention span. We remember only things that are within swipe view. But for the rest of us who actually know history and who actually remember things beyond swipe view, we know that there was a point in time when you said the same thing of how you regretted your vote and regretted who you voted for. I didn't know it would be this bad. We've seen this before. And not only did you do it once, but you did it again. So go ahead and keep your videos. Stop making them. No one's trying to hear that. No one's trying to hear that. We're trying to see action, see progress, and see growth as a nation. So if you do truly regret your decision, which is a decision that you can make of your own volition and free will, which you did, as a nation, we do have to live with the consequences and ramifications of those actions for at least the next 2 years, but be prepared and prepare yourself well for the midterms. Actions speak so much louder than repeated words, than redundant words. And these words are very redundant, very repetitive, and almost in a way that seems to be disingenuous.
So there's a hashtag that's trending now that's leaving MAGA. And I think that's supposed to be for the people that were once MAGA supporters who are defecting and are kind of understanding and opening their eyes to the realities of supporting that group and what's happening in the administration currently. There's also a bunch of liberals and people on the left and non-MAGA people who are kind of giving them crap about it. And I understand why. If you look at my skin tone and if you look at my background and everything, I understand why. But here's my thing. There's a super big percentage of people who defected to supporting Donald Trump because they felt pushed away from the left. And I'm not calling out people of color on this one. There is a self-righteous high horse that the left likes to stand on. And if you don't understand, then your education failed you, or you don't care about human rights and blah, blah, blah. And quite frankly, the holier than thou thing that we did is what pushed a lot of people to the right. 100% I agree with people saying, oh, but you're going to be okay with him making fun of disabled people, my people, and doing this. No, 100% I do not. Other people don't have the same scruples as you and I do. To me, the moment I was like, oh, Donald Trump is insane, this is not cool, was when he was making fun of that disabled man. That was before all of the rest of his racial stuff happened. At the time, I didn't know about the Central Park 5. So when I'm seeing him acting like a buffoon in public and people are cheering it on, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. But then when he mocked that disabled reporter, That's when I was like, this is absolutely unacceptable. And I was even more shocked by people making fun of it. It was and continues to be despicable. And that's when I knew, like, this is going off the rails. And then all this information came out about him. So for the record, no, I never supported him. But that's when I felt like, ugh, that was just deplorable behavior. And yes, I'm saying that word, deplorable. So I would urge anybody that's seeing the bigger picture as the U.S. careens off a cliff to stop rubbing it in people's faces when they were wrong. That's part of the reason people stay supporting the wrong side in the first place. They have too much pride. So if we're sitting there on our high horses being like, well, we tell you something about, that's not the point. We got to turn this back around. And that's not to excuse any type of racism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism. But I'm seeing a lot of white liberals acting real hurt that people are coming back around. And to that I say, you are not the most vulnerable person that Donald Trump has gone up against or gone after. So let's keep the big picture in mind. If people are going to leave MAGA, I'm not saying we need to open them, like welcome them with open arms and buddy and erase the past. But what I'm saying is we got to get to work. We have to get to work now. And it's more important that we're like, look, just bring whoever we can. Let's educate you on what we can do. Because there's a lot of people that love that whole, well, I'm not doing the emotional labor. I'm not doing the mental labor. I'm not teaching you. Your education failed you. All of that stuff, that needs to take a back seat. We can do the I told you so after we fix this. And also, I do not expect any black people to take the labor of doing this. I think this is also a Latino thing. We need to really work on that 60% Latino male voters and 30% female voters that decided that they wanted to be white.
So, above me is a hashtag that supposedly is going around on social media. Hashtag leaving MAGA. And it comes from those people who now regret their decision to vote for Donald Trump. I sincerely hope you are not expecting some warm welcome to the side of reality, because I'm fresh the fuck out of it. I am fresh out of open arms and warm chocolate chip cookies. You're gonna get a cold shoulder, an oatmeal wheat cookie, and that's it. I got nothing. Because once again, you are now waking up to the realization that you are a driftwood American. You see, you didn't leave MAGA before November 5th, 2024. You left MAGA after November 5th of 2024. And some of you are only leaving, because Trump did something that you didn't like. And now you're regretting what you did. Meaning you haven't learned a motherfucking thing. You haven't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have voted for that motherfucker in the first place. I'm all cried out, dog. I need y'all to understand something. Those of you who are leaving and those of you who were never in their cult to begin with, I need you to understand this. Donald Trump was never good for America. Ever. None of his ideas made any sense. Nothing he did the last time he was in the White House and this time will make your life better. The people who make $50,000 a year and under, a lot of y'all voted for that shit in overwhelming majorities. You played dice with your own balls. And now you found out that the dealer, the person who's running the table, will take them right before they hit the wall. So you're not even getting a return on investment at this point. But now you're leaving. I said this on November 6th. I will continue to say this until there's no longer breath in my body. I don't trust some of you motherfuckers. I don't. Some of you had that cult-like behavior in your heart. You were just waiting for somebody to give you permission to see it and do it. So I cannot trust you at all. I will never turn my back on you because I'm afraid you will put a knife in it. You will vote selfishly, regret voting selfishly, and then come back saying, I regret voting selfishly. No. This is a stain that you have to walk with from now on. And I will not let you forget it. If you voted for Jill Stein, same deal. If you voted for RFK, same deal. The only person I will give you grace for, if you voted for them, is Jasmine Sherman. But other than that, I got nothing for you. I don't. You can leave MAGA, but that stain is on you forever as far as I'm concerned. That shit should be printed on your tombstone. On your headstone, it should say, believed in MAGA. Because it took you way too fucking long to realize how incredibly disgusting this man is. And it's only because it hit you that you're even saying anything about it in the first place. You don't give a fuck. You gave a fuck when it happened to you. Meaning, there isn't a fight I want to stand next to you in. Ever. Because you're the sort of person that I cannot turn my back on. Because there will be a knife in it. There are some people that learned from their mistake in 2020. They did not make it in 2024. And then there's you. Because you're leaving MAGA now. But how many times did you support MAGA? 3 times, at least. Supported it in 2016. Supported it in 2020. Supported it in 2024. How many of you said that January 6th...
The trending hashtag Leaving MAGA and the criticism of I regret my vote videos are more than just fleeting moments in our online political discourse. They are signals of a much deeper shift in how many people view their political identities and responsibilities. When you see Leaving MAGA trending, it is merely a call to reject a slogan. It represents a profound resentment of values and a movement away from a political narrative that many once embraced but now find increasingly incompatible with their evolving beliefs. Many who once identified the MAGA ideology are now expressing that it no longer aligns with their vision for the future, indicating that political alliances are not as fixed as they once were. Instead, they are fluid, shifting with new insights, experiences, and a growing dissatisfaction with divisive historic. This change in identity is particularly striking in today's digital age, where social media platforms serve as the model public square. Hashtags and viral videos have the power to both unite and divide. In the case of hashtag Leaving MAGA, what we are witnessing is a mass exodus from an identity that many feel has become outdated or even harmful. It's a rejection of a movement that, for some, promised to restore greatness but instead deliver increased polarization and policy that no longer resonates with a more critical nuisance electorate. This digital departure signals not only personal transformation but also a collective reimagining of what political engagement should look like in a time when the issues are as complex as ever. At the same time, the proliferation of I regret my vote videos has sparked an equally important conversation about accountability and proactive change. Experiencing regret over a past vote is a natural human reaction. It's a moment of introspection that acknowledges disappointment when political outcomes don't meet expectations. However, the imaging refrain urging people to please stop making those videos and prepare for the midterms action was reflect as critical pivot from dwelling on past missteps to actively shaping future outcomes. There is a growing consensus that while regret can be an important catalyst for change, it must be channeled into constructive action rather than becoming an end itself. This push for action over reflection is especially crucial as we approach pivotal electoral moments like the midterms. The sentiment is clear: continuous expression of regret without tangible effort to influence change can foster a cycle of inaction and disillusionment. Instead, the focus must shift toward learning from past mistakes, engaging with the issue at hand, and mobilizing effort that can drive meaningful policy change. In a democratic society, every vote counts, but the strength of our system also depends on the willingness of citizens to stay informed, participate actively, and hold themselves accountable for the direction of their communities and nation. There is a nuisance balance to be struck between introspection and activism. On one hand, reflecting on why certain votes or political alliances no longer feel right is essential for personal growth and for understanding the broader societal shift at play. On the other hand, if that reflection turns into a pattern of regret without corresponding effort to enact change, it risks becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy of disengagement. The call for preparing for the midterm is a reminder that while it is healthy to acknowledge what didn't work in the past, the energy derived from that acknowledgement should propel us toward action that prevents similar outcomes in the future. It is important to consider the role that social media plays in amplifying these sentiments. In many ways, platforms like X, Facebook, and YouTube have democratized an expression of political opinions, allowing anyone to share their personal narrative with a wide audience. The democratization, however, comes with its own set of challenges. The same tools that empower individuals' voice, the discontent can also reduce complex political reality to oversimplify sound bits of emotional outbursts. When regret becomes a viral commodity, there is a risk that it may be consumed more as a meme than as a serious call for introspection and change. That is why the message "Action Words" is so significant. It underscores the need to move beyond the comfort of sharing one's feelings online and to engage in the often messy, but ultimately necessary work of political and civil participation. Looking deeper, these trends highlight a broader cultural moment where political identities are increasingly under scrutiny. Voters are beginning to see that aligning with a particular political brand like MAGA is not a permanent state but a choice that must continually be reassembled in light of current events and evolving personal beliefs. This dynamic is a healthy sign of a democracy in which citizens are not bound by rigid identities but are open to growth and change. However, it also demands that we all take responsibility for our political future. The same platform that allow us to publicly renounce old identities also offer us the means to build new ones that are based on informed decision making and proactive engagement. Another layer to this discussion is the acknowledgement that the policy and promises associated with any political movement can sometimes fail to live up to expectations. When voters express regret over their past choices, it is often a reflection of the gap between what promised and what was delivered. This gap in turn reinforces the call for a more pragmatic approach rather than repeatedly lamenting past disappointment. We must focus on strategies that ensure our voices are better represented in the future. This might include more thorough research on candidates and policy, participation in grassroots organizations, or even engagement in local government, where the impact of civil action can be more immediate and tangible. The underlying tension between regret and action is also a reflection of the human condition in the political realm. It's natural to look back and wonder if things could have been different, but history teaches us that regret, while sometimes a necessary step in personal and collective learning, is rarely enough on its own to produce lasting change. The transformation that many are calling for is one that requires not just a change in history but a change in behavior, a shift from passive criticism to active participation. This is where the emphasis on the upcoming midterms becomes critical. It is a call to stop fixating on what has already happened and to start building the future that many voters want to see. In this context, the discussion around #LeavingMaga and the "I regret my vote" videos is not just about political disillusionment, it's about reclaiming agency. It's about recognizing that while our past decisions have shaped the current landscape, they do not have to indicate our future. Every election, especially one as pivotal as the midterms, offers a new opportunity to redefine what political engagement looks like. It's a chance to move away from identities and narratives that no longer serve us and to embrace a more active, thoughtful, and inclusive form of political participation. The evolution is not without its challenges. The digital age, with its rapid-fire exchange of ideas and emotions, can sometimes make it difficult to sustain the kind of long-term commitment that real change requires. Yet, it is precisely because of these challenges that the shift from words to action is so vital. Instead of allowing ourselves to swept up in the momentary emotion of regret, we need to harness that energy to drive long-term strategy for improvement. Whether it's through volunteer work, community organizing, or simply staying informed and voting constantly, each action contributes to a larger movement toward a more responsive and accountable political system. Ultimately, this trend, #LivingMaga, and the backlash against perpetual regret are a reflection of a broader demand for change. They represent a collective call to evolve beyond the limitations of the past political identities and to focus on what can be done now to secure a better future. This is a call for personal responsibility and a collective action, urging us to recognize that while our feelings about past elections are valid, they should serve as a foundation for future involve rather than a reason for ongoing disengagement. In a democracy, our voice matters most when they are coupled with deliberate, informed action. The conversation we are witnessing today is an invitation to reconsider how we engage with politics on a day-to-day basis. It's an encouragement to use our experiences not as reason to retreat, but as stepping stones toward a more engaged and empowered electorate. By moving beyond regret and focusing on proactive steps, we are not only honoring our past experiences but also paving the way for a future where our political system better reflects the values and needs of the people. In summary, the due movement of distancing oneself from the MAGA label and rejecting a cycle of regretful commentary represent more than just shifts in opinion. They signal an evolving mindset that patrolizes accountability, learning, and active participation. As we stand on the cusp of another election cycle, the imperative is clear. It's time to transform our reflection on past disappointment into concrete action that will shape a more promising future for all. Every vote, every informed discussion, and every effort to engage in the political process contributes to a democracy that is resilient, dynamic, and truly reflective of its citizens' aspirations. Thank you for watching, and let's continue this conversation in the comments below. Let us share our thoughts and perspectives with one another. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on this story and more. I will see you in the next video.